I'd like to know footage from this day. So this is going to be an edit video. I'm going to show you how I edit my photos from start to finish. So let's start with that photo again. Put up here in Lightroom, actually. Alright, let's do this photo. This photo's better. And you can see I have already edited that, but let's go ahead and reset that. I'm going to collapse all these tabs and I'm just going to take you through. First thing I want to do is I'm just going to pump up the exposure so you can see what's happening. And then next, I do white balance. You want to find, it's like a neutral gray. Yeah, you can see that didn't really change much. Some of my balances, like the auto's pretty good. Usually just shoot with auto, but doing the white balance is like good to double check. All right, so then we're gonna open a crop, lens correction, transform. I don't really need to do much lens correction here. I'm shooting at 70mm. This is pretty like proportional, geometrical. It's good. So we're not going to touch anything there. Maybe if you're shooting like a fisheye or like a really long focal length. This is a long lens, but I wasn't shooting so long. Transform. One of these buttons here. Again, just to make sure everything's nice and straight. Yeah, so like find like a line in your photo that should be like upright. And then align it to the guides on the screen. And then if those buttons aren't doing it for you, I will go down into these sliders here, but let's see what looks in the straight level, auto, vertical. I think auto looks the best. Alright, so we can collapse everything again. And then the next thing I'll go through is exposure. I don't usually use like the overall exposure slider unless I have to. I probably will a little bit here. I like my photos darker, so I always like underexpose in camera, and then I will turn up the shadows, and you can see that's still like a little bit too dark, so I'll turn up the exposure just a little bit. The reason I underexpose in camera is because you're going to keep a lot more detail in your shadows than in your highlights. So like even this photo is underexposed, but like there's not a lot of information you're getting back from the highlights. Like you can tell, like if I turn the highlights all the way down, the color's still there, but like usually like if you're overexposed, like you might not be able to get like your sky back. So I don't like my highlights turned all the way down like that. I kind of have them up, create more contrast and just like glowy. I feel like when they're turned down, it looks like really like hyper real, but it just depends like on you, what you like. All right, so then contrast, I've turned the shadows up, I turn the blacks down, and I feel like that just like keeps it looking dark, but gives it like some punchiness to the colors. I'm rarely gonna touch the clarity, saturation, contrast, any of those sliders. I'll show you how I do use them if I do. Let's turn exposure up just like a little bit more in there. Relax, just a little bit down. And highlight. Yeah, just like there so you can see some of those wires. Alright, tone curve, I am gonna save because I kind of like save it for like final retouchingness, but sometimes I don't really touch it. It's just, it's more work than I want to do usually. Alright, so color, again, I use the HSL sliders and not tone curve. I will use color grading sometimes, but also not really. Usually I stay here. So usually I turn down my yellows a lot, and I will also sometimes turn down my blues too. I feel like when people like ask me like, oh, how do you edit your photos or like something like that, it's usually when I do these like more extreme looking edits here. Like you can see this looking like moody, glowy, desaturated, but like certain colors are still kind of popping, like this red, and that's because I'm using these sliders, but the red's still too bright, so we're gonna turn it down just a little bit. But then in contrast to turning my saturation down, I'm gonna turn my luminance up, and you can see when I do that with the yellow, yeah, like the yellow's not so intense, but I turn the luminance up so your eye still goes there. But there's a lot of blue in the background of this photo, so I don't really want your eye to go there. I want your focus sorry, that's a lot of chicken. I want your focus to stay in the foreground on the chicken. So watch when I turn the luminance down, you can see all those blues in the back and on the side. Actually, it kind of looks good, but I'm gonna turn them down, and look, now your focus is way more up at the front. Oh no, I forgot something. Again, when I edit, like I usually don't really go in order. I'm all over the place. Crop. Yeah, I usually do that first because I think your composition is really important to the story in the photo. So what do I do when I'm cropping? This man over here is not helping us tell the story. We can get rid of him, and we still know we're at a busy morning market, but he's just not distracting us from the subject of the photo, which is this woman. I think that crops a little bit low on the bike. I want to bring it just underneath it, so I'm getting as much of this building and wires up here as possible. I don't really want his hands. I know he's there. Maybe someone else might not, and I could bring it up a little bit more, but we're not. I like it like this. All right, so yeah, I'll show you what I might do in color grading. Like maybe you want like kind of like a vintagey like film look. So I'd take that over to like, yeah, like this, like army green, and then turn your saturation like way down on that, and just like a little bit in your shadows. That looks pretty good. This is like kind of an extreme edit for me, but like, yeah. Detail. All right, so I'll turn up the sharpening like a little bit. On smaller screens, I feel like it's your photos like you might trick your viewer into like it's like more high quality, like the sharper it is. I don't know if that makes sense, but I've heard that before. I don't know if I agree, so I don't know why I'm saying that. All right, but what I do is I turn up luminance and noise reduction down here, and I feel like that like gives it this like smooth, like it looks good to me. Maybe it like, yeah, it just looks like smooth and good. Like some people like really want to go for like that gritty street vibe, and they'll turn like the sharpness way up, and they'll like turn the clarity way up, and then like let's go back and color grading, and like let's, yeah, I didn't reset that. Like, you know this photographer. Reset 3-way. Boom. Go me. I'm the opposite. I don't really want, like, I know I shoot street, but I don't want it to look like gritty. I want it to look pretty. Pretty gritty. Because it looks pretty gritty, like, anyways. So I don't really like feel like I need to enhance that. Alright. Detail done. Sorry, I'm like burping so much. I just ate Mexican food. Alright. Transform, I already did that. Effects. we could add a little bit, just a little bit of a vignette. Again, like that's gonna bring your focus more on the center. But rather than do a vignette, this is what I like to do. I will go up here with the radio filter. Let's pop that. Oh my god, again. Fiona. Princess Fiona. Double click color, that will go off. Press O, you can see where your filter is. And instead of using vignette, I feel like this is like kind of more of a custom vignette. Why are all these? I swear, I don't know how to just like reset those. Like, how do you get it so like the mask, like those just reset every time? I can't figure it out. I couldn't do a Google search. All right, so let's press O again so we can see what, oops. So we can see what we're doing. And then I can turn the exposure all the way down, or I could do the blacks so it's a little bit more subtle, just a little bit down. And wow, look at that. Looks pretty good. So what I'll do there is I'm going to develop these settings on copy settings, copy, library, escape. And I'm going to go down to, I was going to do that picture. I think I want to do this picture. All right, let's do this picture. So I'm about to show you I don't like presets. I copied the settings from the last photo and I'm going to paste this on this photo. It might look great. Let's see. This is why I don't use presets. Doesn't look that good on this photo, does it? All right, so let's reset. I think it looks better straight out of the camera than the last. So start with crop. I was gonna go on Instagram. I didn't do that with the last photo, but let's do 4x5. Let's crop any unnecessary information out. Let's bring it a little bit more this way. Oh, still a little bit. Do I want the brand on the other side? A little bit. That looks good. All right. Nope. Okay, let's go in order. I'm gonna start lens correction. Don't need it. Transform. This is an angled photo. There's really no straight lines, so these are gonna look wacky. If there was something I'd want to do to this photo, I would use these sliders. Maybe let's just do like a little vertical down and see how that looks. That looks like a little bit more dramatic. Yeah, cool. All right, and then let's go up to basic and we'll do exposure. Let's see what happens when I bring the shadows up. Yeah, because I want a little bit of this tray, but it's like leftovers. I don't want, like, it's not leftovers. What's it called when you finish your food? It's eaten soup. All right, so I don't want you to see the eaten soup. And the highlights, I actually, because I don't want that yellow so much there. That's a little intense. I could either do that with highlights if I really want like high contrasty, or because there's yellow in that spot, I could do that with desaturating the yellow, bring the luminance up, bring the luminance up, like while it brings your attention like to that area because it highlights it a little bit. It does kind of desaturate a little bit at the same time. Let's see. I think we don't need to touch that, but I do think like right there is like realistic, and then I'm gonna do that with green as well. So a lot of green in the backgrounds there, just like a realistic amount. And then these steps are aqua. Let's see. Yeah, we're gonna bring the luminance up on that. And then do I want to bring the saturation up? And no, that looks super cheesy, just like a tiny, tiny bit. I'm so burpy. Let's shut that down. Let's, yikes. I just want to reset it all. Is it just this? No. Okay. Let's do it like that. And then we're gonna take the paintbrush. Sorry, I like just got stuck on something there. All right, we're just gonna take the paintbrush. Yikes, again. We wanna do auto mask, so it like will, it's kind of smart. It like figures out what you're trying to put the mask on and it clings to that. And this is when I might use clarity sliders, just like a little bit. And let's go over this dude. Let's press O. You can see it's being pretty smartish. Yeah. Press Alt to clean it up a little bit. Doesn't need to be perfect, like at all. Alright, and then press O so we can see what's happening. Let's bring the shadows. Oh yeah, I think that's perfect. Okay, enter. Looks pretty good. And then this is like maybe like the last thing I would do. The last example I will give you. Let's copy settings and go over to this photo here. And what I want to do with this photo is show you the before and after. And then the before is a little dark, but you can see I did like a little bit of spot removal and dodging and burning to remove distractions out of the background. Like you can see the original photo compared to the after. Again, like the foreground's just popping a lot more and you're not like distracted as much by the headlight or dude. So what I did there, instead of like taking you start to finish through this edit again, what I'm going to do is just kind of like show you what I did. So let's collapse all. There's definitely strong radial filter there. You can see that I've got my clarity all the way up to 19 and I've got my highlights up. I really like this photo just because like the focus is on the background and like so it kind of just creates like an interesting element to it. God. But you still know what's going on in the foreground. So that's like focus is something I really like to play with. Let's throw the IG crop on it. Crop's kind of hard for this photo. What did I just do? Stop it. Let's bring it over to the right. Yeah, that's kind of nice. Like, you're just like following the lines along the wires and the buildings are still like carrying your eye through the photo. Gosh, I wish there were people on the balconies up there. That looks so good. All right. And then basically, I turned up the exposure quite a bit. I turned up the highlights quite a bit in this photo. I feel like it looks, yeah, pretty good, like high contrasty. Shadows are up quite a lot, blacks are down quite a lot. Again, this is really like a high contrast situation. Did I do anything to tone curve? Let's see. No, I didn't. Color, you can see it turned down, saturation, and down luminance. What if I did blue like that? Yeah, better. Detail, inside turn my luminance, wow, all the way up to 26 there, and my sharpening's up a bit as well. No lens correction. I did vertical. In this photo, I'm surprised I did anything. Yeah, again, it's a little bit like dramatic, like the last one. I usually like things to be like so straight up and down, but cool. Alright, and then effects. Oh, I did like a pretty heavy vignette on this one. Yeah, I think just, what did I do? Yeah, I think just like the regular vignette looks fine in this photo, and that's it. Yeah, that's how I edit my photos, start to finish. This was my first explaining video that I have done. So yeah, I'll try this again, and hopefully, maybe I'll talk a little bit clearer, slower. Yeah, if you made it this far, thank you. All right.